Kurtis, congratulations on the 100. Have you had a chance to bump into your parents before coming in here?
Yeah, I did. I just got a hold of them on the way up, which was nice. They were actually quite okay, to be honest. From everything I've been told by every second person, they were carrying on like pork chops. So, it was lovely to see them. They've obviously been an integral part of my journey, so it was great for them to obviously be here and be there for me today.
And what does this mean to you after all the work that you've put in over the years?
Yeah, I guess it's another nice milestone. It's said to a couple of people today. I've played that innings in my mind ever since I was a little boy. So it was really nice to get out there today and I guess make it a reality. But I guess more importantly, just put the team in a really good position to try and win another Test match.
Coach, I think Brian Booth was in the crowd as well, and have you had much to do with him through St George, or he said he's been a bit of a fan of yours for a while?
Yeah, no, I've had a lot to do with Brian, particularly when I was younger. Obviously, with the schedule the way it is these days, you don't get back to your club side as probably as much as we'd like to. But Brian was really, really good to me ever since I was an up-and-comer at St George. So he shot me a message after Brisbane and mentioned that he was going to head down to Canberra. So I haven't seen him as yet, but he's a wonderful person and he's been a really nice help for me.
2.5 weeks ago, you spoke about just packing your bags, get ready for a Thunder training. Here we are with a maiden Test 100. Can you just try and put into words your last few weeks in the whirlwind of, a Test debut and now 100?
Yeah, I think whirlwind's probably the right word. It hasn't sunk in yet, to be honest, and I probably don't really want it to sink in until the Test match is over. There's obviously an important job to do tomorrow. We need to, take another 16 wickets to win the match. So. I'm happy that that's where my head's at the moment, and as I mentioned, I'm happy for it to sink in after Tuesday. But I'm stoked. I'm really happy with the achievement, but I'm looking forward to getting out there tomorrow and, like I said, trying to keep doing well for Australia.
Well, you'll be on the ice bars and the Gatorade. Your old man said he planned on sinking 1,000 schooners tonight. Does he have that in his engine?
No, I don't think he does these days. Maybe when he was a young cricketer, when he had a bigger engine, but no, I'm not sure how well he go, but I'm sure he'll probably give it a decent crack.
What was the feeling like out in the field when Dimmoth Karunaratne's lying there injured and getting treatment and the Medicap comes out?
Yeah, it's never nice. You never like seeing that. You want your fast bowlers to obviously be aggressive and try and set them up to get the nick, but you never like it when players go down like that. I haven't really heard, but I'm hoping he's okay. Hoping he can come out and bat again tomorrow. So all of us are in a little bit of shock, but I think everyone's okay, which is good. So hoping he's okay to bat again tomorrow.
And on your own performance, throughout your career, is one of the, I suppose, the traits. You've been able to get to 50 a lot and not turn it into centuries. But the last 3 weeks, I think it's 300s now. What's been the turning point? Has there been anything you've done differently?
Yeah, I've changed. There's probably been a fair bit that I've changed from last season, to be honest. Probably post the Aussie A trip to India, I just kind of had a bit of self-reflection, just thought about what I need to do to, as you mentioned, to convert those starts into big scores. A couple of small technical changes, but the main ones have just been I've changed the way that I've trained. I've tried to hit balls for a little bit longer on those training days, and just paid a bit more attention to, I guess, my mental routines and what I'm doing when I'm out there in the middle. I think probably previous years I've been guilty of, overthinking it and actually changing what I'm doing when I'm, getting to 50 or 60, when there's, the reality is you don't need to change it if you're getting to that point doing something. You just got to continue and go for a long time. So, I think it was, there's obviously been a few different moments, but our bowling coach at New South Wales, Andre Adams, just kind of said to me one day at the MCG, he said, you're going to be a successful batter if you've got a decent technique and if you can stay on task and make the right decisions. And I think that pretty much sums up the way I view batting, and that's kind of helped me along the way.
Kurtis, was that Shield 100 you made at the New Perth Stadium a bit of a breakthrough for you, and I suppose an example to yourself that all the stuff you'd put in place was going to work, and sort of more hundreds of flows since then?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's, obviously aside from today, my first Test 100, that's been my most satisfying 100 in my career, that one in Perth. What was a reasonably tough wicket, we got sent into bat, and Jai Richardson bowled one of the best spells of fast bowling that I've seen. So I've said to a few people that it was a big weight off the back. But I also said that I felt like it could have come in any game prior to that, because I felt like I've been batting really well. My thinking's been really clear, which has been good. But it was a nice monkey off the back to get it over in Perth, on a place that traditionally for New South Wales we haven't played that well. So to score 100 and then win the game over there was really satisfying.
Kurtis, I know you're in the middle of this series at the moment, but do you think you might look at trying to maybe get a county contract in the coming months? Is that something that you would like to do?
I haven't given it too much thought. It has been, lightly spoken about with the relevant people, but I think it's probably a bridge that I'll cross once these next 3 days are over. It's always been something I'd really like to do, go and play county cricket. So if that opportunity came up this year, I can't really answer whether I'd take it or not, but it's obviously an important series coming up in the winter. So hopefully, like I mentioned before, I'd like to be a part of that A tour if selected. I think that'd be a really good experience. But I guess, like I mentioned, it's probably one of those things in 3 days' time I'll let you know a bit more on.
You mentioned the wickets that you still need to get, and we saw Mitchell Starc generate a fair bit of pace towards the end of the day. Are you confident that your bowling attack's got that in them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think our attack is absolutely world class. I think Paddy and Jai just putting it on a spot like they do, but putting it on a spot at over 140 k's, mind you, and obviously Mitch getting some rhythm today and hitting 150 consistently. I'm not sure what Karuna Ratner's going to do tomorrow, but we're 2 wickets away from bowlers. So hopefully, I think the way the game's gone, there's generally been a little bit in the wicket for the first 30, 40 minutes of each day. So if we can get a couple of early wickets and wind Starkey up and get into their tail, I think we would go a long way. It'll go a long way to hopefully winning the test.
Kurtis, you seem to treat most short balls with a certain sense of disdain. Has that always been the case? And secondly, how do you rate your batting against the moving ball, and how crucial will the last few games of the Shield season be when they use the Duke's ball?
Yeah, it's always really crucial. Obviously on everyone's personal point of view, there's an Ashes tour coming up, so it's always highlighted more the Duke ball. But we're in a really good position for New South Wales to try and win the Shield, so that's obviously forefront of the mind once this game's over. So how do I rate my game against a moving ball? I like playing it when the ball's moving, to be honest. Generally there's more slips. Bowlers are more attacking and the captains are more attacking, so there's generally a few more gaps in the field for someone like myself who doesn't really try and hit the ball too hard. I just like to lean on the ball and time it. So previously my experiences, I like it when the ball's moving. It's obviously a different challenge and it brings in more modes of dismissal, but I think that I go okay against a moving ball. But as you mentioned, there's 4 Shield games, which would be a terrific opportunity for all batters around the country to try and stake their claim.
Kurtis, sometimes it's just your day, and the last couple of days it has been. It could have been over before it started. I think first ball you edged one and it was put down. Was that moment that sort of sharpened you up, jolted you into action at the start of your innings to make sure that you did follow those routines you talked about and followed through on your commitment to bat longer and stay focused? Yeah, absolutely. I was bloody furious with myself. I'd watch the boys, play the spinners with reasonable ease for 4 hours sitting there. And then I went out there and played for turn on my first ball. And as you mentioned, it's just such a funny game, isn't it? If that gets caught, I'm not sitting here and talking to you guys. But it did absolutely woke me up. I certainly didn't play for turn after that ball and was just treating them like they were almost swinging in. So really, really fortunate to be here. But I was really glad I was able to put that behind me and go on and put a decent score on the board.
Kurtis, did Tim give you an indication of that he was about to declare, or was it based on a scoreboard total or time on the clock, or what was it?
We had a brief chat at lunch, and Tim mentioned that he was, looking at somewhere around 5:30 to 5:50. I think it was more on time. I think Tim wanted at least 50 minutes before the tea break for the bowlers to try and get some rhythm, not have to stop and start again with that break. So it was almost a time thing more than a run thing. I think he was reasonably happy as long as we got to that 530 mark to obviously pull up stumps and give the bowlers a crack.
Kurtis, you said that you played that innings over your head a lot as a little kid, but what about the celebration? I mean, you had so much time to think about it. That was pretty standard.
Yeah, I haven't really run over the celebration in my head too much, obviously, but I'm a reasonably placid guy, I would have thought. yeah, I mean that was pure elation for me. I don't know how much I showed it, but I had a massive smile, at least internally. But as I mentioned, I wasn't sure when Tim was declaring, so I wasn't trying to get too over the top and lose my concentration. I wanted to, keep going. If we needed to score another 50 runs, I didn't want Paddy Cummins to have to come out and bat before he was bowled. I wanted him to have nice fresh legs, and hopefully he can continue that tomorrow.